how I made 7,000 euro. Actually, it's around the same in dollars plus per week. Okay, like with WebGIS projects, like working from cafes and while traveling. So this means not every week was, of course, 7K or something, but there were many projects. I can show you them in the end. And just to give you an idea, to give you some inspiration of what's actually possible for you as well with the right path. And I will explain you how you can get there. So over the years, WebGIS projects have allowed me to earn, 6,000 to 7,000 and even more, okay, or euro projects, okay, within about a week of work, okay. So all while working from home, cafes, even while traveling. So in this video, in this session here, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I did it, okay, how I got there, and how you can start landing your own WebGIS projects, okay, without spending years stuck in tutorial hell or something like that, okay, or wondering what actually to do on how to get these applications together. So let me show you that, how you do that too. So problem is, so why couldn't I charge 7K projects in the beginning? Everything started, of course, I started studying GIS and stuff like that. So loved GIS, but making maps, analysis, etc. wasn't enough for me anymore. Okay, I was really like, hey, I really enjoy coding. I want more of that. Then I thought, yeah, becoming a WebGIS developer would take actually years. So I kept putting real learning off. Like I could, of course, do some GIS development, okay, some cool stuff here and there a little bit. But I kept like a friend even was asking me for a project for WebGIS development, and I copied, pasted code, stuff like that. I thought like, hey, thought I could program, and I did some cool scripts here and there. I even did some little applications like for the desktop stuff, but for the WebGIS applications, it seemed to be everything a little bit different. So yeah, eventually I started with copying, pasting, reading documentations, YouTube videos, reading books. It simply didn't work. So biscuits. So I understood that I actually, when I take a real, like something real to learn, I will eventually learn it. But I thought, hey, I can do it. So I kept putting everything off. And yeah, I was going through tutorials that taught fragments, okay, not complete WebGIS applications. Eventually, yeah, I could copy code, but couldn't build a full system myself. That, yeah, wasn't possible actually for my first project. And was like, hey, this was a telecommunication project. And yeah, I copied, pasted, and I had a map. Sometimes I had an editor inside, sometimes I had this inside, but everything together, I really had no idea about how to do this in a real application, web application, and then really getting stuff from the back end to the front end, storing it and everything like this. But I wanted freedom. And I didn't want actually another office job or something like that. So I decided to really go full in. By the way, if you like a copy of this Google Doc here, okay, and want to learn how to become confident WebGIS developer, land your own projects, I'm sharing this documentation later on after this session here right away inside my free WebGIS development mastery community. So the link is in the description. Okay, so the steps basically that I have taken. So there were three things that made it all work eventually. The first one was actually mastering the fundamentals. This is actually what I kept putting off because I thought it will take me very long. And yeah, but I figured out a really cool structure. Okay, and I understood that, yeah, I started learning the programming fundamentals again, step by step. I learned this actually in the university. We had a quite okay module, but yeah, the lecturer there was like throwing everything at once kind of at us, like not really structured. And then yeah, everyone wondered in the end, like, did we actually learn everything here? Because sometimes we can read the code, or when we want to write, it takes very long and it's like feels like a hassle. And yeah, when in my first project, I understood that, hey, WebGIS applications, I've seen a lot of them. Like just think about the weather applications, Google Maps, okay? And yeah, your satellite download application, like satellite image download applications and this kind of stuff. There are really a lot of more, like the telecom communication application that I had to build first even, okay? And it was not the only one that this telecommunication company had. They had actually like 5 or 10 behind the scenes, what usually people don't see. And I've worked with many telecommunication companies over the years, and I've seen that many of them have this. Okay, actually all of them had this. I don't know if every of them have this, but all of them who I have worked with, they had like at least 2, some of them even 10 WebGIS applications behind the scenes to, yeah, organizing everything, analyzing, making decisions, and saving time, like putting their manual workflow shit actually into some interactive application to do everything faster and safer. Then I decided, hey, I go in, I will learn this again. I want to really master this. And I learned programming fundamentals step by step, element by element. And I did this. So I saw that actually it just took me around 20 focused hours. I always thought it's taking years to become really good at it, but actually 20 focused hours. Okay. Basically, here's how I did this. Let me quickly share this for you. What I understood is, where do I put my code at first? Okay, that's really important. Then I went through these elements step by step, element by element. Okay, I understood variables, data types. How do I do input, output? How do I control my program with conditionals, with loops? How do I organize my program with functions simply? What are these object-oriented programming stuff? Okay, and it's way simpler than you think. It's simply that you're creating your own objects if you wanted to. You don't have to do it even in all of your projects. Okay, that really doesn't matter, but they become later important when you want to work with libraries like WebGIS libraries. These libraries, they always have these objects like maps, feature layers, and they have properties and methods. Simply, again, properties are nothing else than actually variables, and these methods, they are these functions. Okay, and so they're functionalities basically for a map that you can add layers and stuff like that. For feature layers, that you can do queries and stuff. You put simply the parameters inside the where clause, stuff like that. Okay, it's that simple. And yeah, also understanding modules, how actually the data flows in a WebGIS applications with asynchronicity, Ajax, and of course JSON objects. And one of the coolest part is simply debugging here. Okay, that you basically, yeah, put a breakpoint, we call this, at a specific point in the code. The code will stop there. You can see exactly what's inside your data, inside your variables, and you can see exactly if everything worked as you expected. If not, you just, go back in the code, put your breakpoint a bit earlier, see again what's going on there. Okay, what's happening? What is wrong? Okay, I just have to change this minus into a plus. Or I didn't handle this case here, and then you just correct everything. Okay, these are around 10-15 elements. Okay, you just need concise, straightforward, and easy explanations, easy exercises. That's it, making you confident there. And then after I learned those, I implemented my first WebGIS applications with ease and joy, okay, and confidence. And it was simply, I took my ideas that I wanted to have in these applications, put these in these elements, and made the stuff work. Okay. Even you can, of course, take sample code. You can, of course, later use AI and stuff like this to bring everything quicker together. But it's great that you have these fundamentals. Like a lawyer that would just using AI or stuff like this, they would never know if everything is correct. What was given. Okay, so you have to understand the fundamentals to be sure that you make the stuff right here. And it's like each step, okay, builds on the previous one. It's really important that you go in this order. I see a lot of tutorials, they start even with objects, okay? How can you do that when actually variables and functions are a part of that, okay? So that sequence is what makes you eventually confident. It made me as well, okay? Just 20 focus hours, it's not years, okay? Easy explanations, easy exercise that you can see, yes, I got this, and I can map my stuff into these elements. It's important that you understand the front end, the back end, the database, how they basically work together, okay? And it's always basically fundamentally like this here, that you have your browser, you have your application in the browser. There's a request happening to a server. There's, for example, Django running on it with a script inside. This script gets the data from the database. You get the data back. You send this stuff to the front end, take it with your JavaScript, put it on the map, and that's basically it all of the time. Okay, this is the only thing that you have to understand here. I was also stopping to relying on tutorials, okay, and I started writing my own code. This is what made this possible here. Okay, understanding the fundamentals, step by step, element by element. Okay, so this is very important because otherwise you will never know, like, hey, or you take some sample codes, you take tutorial codes, but often they are not made for your specific application, for your specific use case. Okay, so in the end, you can change the stacks to whatever you want. The architecture actually rarely does. Okay, the architecture again is the front end, the back end database. Often it's instead of a database, it's simply a file. Can also be something like that. The stack can change from, okay, you don't want to use ArcGIS JavaScript, but you want to use Leaflet. Internally, they work the same. They have all these objects, they have these methods, and this is what you are using all of the time inside. Okay. And how everything basically connects. It doesn't matter if you're using Django as the backend, or Java, or Node.js with JavaScript, or something else. The only thing you have to understand is how you make this data flow through it. Okay, and this comes with simply the fundamentals here. So when you have the programming fundamentals, you just see how this framework works, like Django, and I've basically shown you that here on this slide. Quickly again, Django takes you tell the URL, okay, with that people can query your database. Then here inside this one, you put actually the code in that queries the database. The result comes back, you send it to the front end. It's always the same. Same as with Node.js, with everything else. You take something here, sometimes they don't have these URLs. It's a URL script actually. They have everything right in one script even. So you take, you say, hey, this is the URL and this is the function to it that does it. You give the URL to someone, tell him, hey, put your word clause inside and it will give you the data from the database, send it to the front end, and you can use it with your JavaScript for whatever you want. Okay, putting it on the map, creating a table, creating charts, whatever you need. All right. Then it's important, or what I did next is, or what I always do also with my students these days, is build one hero application. This is very important to get really confident that you can see, hey, I got these fundamentals now, I can really apply this and create applications to that, right? It's not that you will create maybe applications that maybe take me or a professional maybe 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours, maybe it takes you 10 hours or 15, but this is totally fine in the beginning, okay? Everyone starts like that. Even I've started like this, all of my programming friends have started like this. The problem though is, many start creating tutorial projects, tutorial applications. Okay, I don't know, showing a little chart here, like simply copying, pasting something that is a use case, okay, that a little part. Actually, no one cares. If you go into an interview, you have done this, you haven't done something real, people will feel your energy, they will feel that you have maybe done so far tutorials projects. That's great that you started this 100%, but what you really want is build a real application solving a real problem, okay? Something that really helps people here. It can be, as simple as a little weather application, like simply showing farmers or something, like what's the weather coming in today, tomorrow, what should they do with the crops and stuff like this. And seeing or simply loading a satellite image inside, getting the NDVI, telling the farmer, hey, you must irrigate more here, something like that, okay, so that they can save their crops. And it can go until you're creating logistics applications that take the weather, that calculating routes for the trucks and see the weather, like how it comes in for the time that the truck will go there. And you can see exactly, hey, at this time when the truck is passing that position, that location here, there will be severe weather, and it's better that you take another route here. Okay, stuff around like this. Often it's also just automating something for someone. They have a lot of like, we have Javi currently, he's doing a cool application for elevator guys, and they have like everything in Excel. They have everything in their head. Simply, they are talking about where they have been. They have everything simply on pen and paper. And if you have an application so that they can manage everything easily over the application and everyone can see where they are, where they have to go, where the notes are and stuff like this, everything is in one place. And this is saving them literally time that they can put in more clients, that they can take more clients on and stuff like that. Okay. Then you want to create something, or this helps you creating something that you can proudly show to companies with confidence. This is exactly the same that I've done. It's for me, it was exactly right away. The telecommunication company, a friend of me came to me and he said, hey, Christian, I saw you like programming. Can you create this WebGIS application for me? I said, yes, let's go. And I had to do this as first, but I created one real hero application so that I understood for myself, hey, I can really do this. Hey, I can help people. And now when I go into an interview, I can show this to the company, to project givers for freelancing with confidence and tell that, hey, I've done this. And they will feel it. They know that they have to have you on this project, no one else. Okay. Demonstrated I could deliver complete solutions with that. Okay, this is what real people, what hiring managers are looking for. Okay, for jobs, even for freelancing. Okay, they want to see that you have created something real. Okay, complete solution for someone. And this is done with this hero application. Then what I started from this point is I started selling business outcomes. I stopped selling, hey, I will do this leaflet application for you with a great Django backend with a PostGIS database. Does a telecommunication company care about, is it Leaflet or is it ArcGIS Maps SDK for JavaScript? Does it have Django? Does it have Node.js? Does it have PostGIS? Does it have DuckDB? No. What they just want is something working fast, okay? And working reliable. And what they even more want is that it's solving their problem. Okay, this is what they are looking for. They don't look for tutorial applications. Okay, they don't look for like, okay, this is a little fragment stuff with this thing you can edit here. Then you have to go to the other application with this, you can see a chart. They often want stuff at the same place that they can see, information, okay, in a real good manner, in a real good way that they can quickly make decisions, okay, the right decisions. And as I told you, for the logistics companies, this is exactly where you tell them, hey, don't go there with your truck. There will be crazy weather, and you can even show that on the map with the weather forecast that comes up and stuff like that, okay? So they can even actually see what's going on. And then the next thing that I did is I started charging for business value, okay? Not the technologies, not even for hours. Sometimes I know you might have to put in hours, okay, for research or something like this, then this works, but often you can put this in a clear scope, in a clear project, in a clear application. And then you can tell your clients, hey, it's solving this and that for you. It's saving hours for you. It's saving you actually money. It's actually making you money, okay? And you have to actually literally ask them, hey, how many people are working in this company and doing this stuff, everything here manually? And they will tell you they will tell you an hour. So then you can estimate like an hourly salary. You can estimate the times, the days that they are doing it, and a month. And then you will come up maybe to something like 5,000 a month, maybe 10,000, sometimes 20,000. Sometimes, I don't know, it's regulations that they cannot stick with them because they don't have something that they can look at. And then they lose even 50,000, 100,000 per month. No shit. And then you can give them the value. You can tell them, hey, the application that I provide you that gives you this solution will actually save you money, will save you time, that you can put into more clients, that you can stick to the regulations that you have and this kind of stuff. Okay, that you will see where your fields are going to be, and for the farmers, and yeah, that they can react on time. Okay, this is what people really need. They need to see that you can solve a real problem. You can explain them the value around that. Okay, you can start asking like, hey, if this part of the field burns, like because of it's getting dry, okay, like in the sense of getting dry, how much does it cost you? And then you can tell them, okay, the application that I create for you is costing a fragment of that. Do you want to have that? Okay, so it's totally clear for them that you're creating extreme value for them and that they can save a lot of money eventually. So the return of investment eventually will be extremely high for them. With all of this, I turned one application into multiple paid opportunities. Okay, basically it is, for me, the hero application is the telecommunication application, okay, for the German Telecom was at that time. And yeah, they could edit stuff, they could fetch attributes. Okay, all of these are features, but what was important for them is that they could analyze everything, like how well are our services working here and there, and where should we do it better? Where should we take the service out because it just doesn't make sense? Where should we put more service in because more people actually need it there, and this kind of stuff. Okay, so that they can make real world decisions there. What we do with our students is we come in, they learn the fundamentals, they start creating a real application that they can even sell. We show them how to show this on LinkedIn or a newsletter or wherever they want to. And then people start reaching out to them, or people will react to that. And then you can start talking with these people. Okay. And we have cool templates there that you can go along, figure out exactly what they want, what their pains are. You want to understand the current situation. You want to understand the problems of that situation. And you want to understand, or even often they have a solution for that already. Okay. Often it's simply coming from a manual workflow into something automated. Sometimes it's that you have to research a little bit, find a solution. You can even do it with them, and then you will create an application for them and this kind of stuff. Okay. This is how we turn one application into multiple paid opportunities. Okay. And basically, this is what I've put here together, is the numbers that I told you. So this is work from literally 1 week. Okay. This 1 week, this 1 week, this 1 week, and this is 1 week. Great stuff. I have more of this, but I thought I won't overwhelm you here with all these numbers and stuff. And this is also not the point here, but simply that you can see this, that it's real, and you can do this with this path 100% as well. Okay. Simply understand the fundamentals, how these applications working together, the architecture, the most important, the most essential programming elements, how to use libraries, not looking at 1,000 examples, and then you have to do the 1,000 first ones that no one showed you. Okay, but that you really understand, hey, it's an object, it has a functionality. If it's inside the library, you're using that functionality. If not, you can create it yourself. Okay, so, and then from there, of course, how to create everything, how to put everything together with the backend and with the database. And for that, you just need to understand how to make the data flow with a framework. Okay, Simply often you have one script file, and from there everything else happens. And the cool thing is, from the backend, it's pretty much actually like just desktop programming, the stuff that you most probably have done already, and you are querying the database like you have ever done before, and all the other stuff. You just send your results now to the front end, okay, often as a JSON format or other format, depending on how big it is and stuff like that. And then you send it to the front end, show it to people, create charts, tables, put it on the map. Okay, that's basically how it works all of the time. The outcome of these 3 steps, okay, and this can happen absolutely for you as well. I close multiple 6K to 20K WebGIS projects. Okay, of course, the 20Ks, maybe they were not 1 week, but maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks or something like that. Yeah, I often charge project-based and app-based, which is eventually value-based. Okay, you want to always talk about the value that you're producing with this application for people. Okay, of course, sometimes I charge simply 150 when it was not so easy, like for when there was something about researching to determine the scope really and how long everything will take. But you can, of course, go back to hourly rate as well. And again, this is around US dollars as well. Okay, so 150 euro is, I think it's even 170, 160, something around that. So work remotely from home, cafes, while traveling, okay, have the freedom that I know you most of you guys also want. Build a pipeline of clients, okay, so that you don't have to start every month from zero, from scratch, to finding people, but that you actually build a pipeline, showing your stuff, what you're doing, building trust with people, showing the stuff that you're doing, how you can help them, and this kind of stuff. And then you just start reaching out to them. Okay, so they will basically gather around you and you can start reaching out to them and start talking with them. Eventually turn those skills into my own education program, what I really love, what is my passion, okay, that I show or can show you how you can do this, okay? And this is what I really love. So the conclusion basically is learn the fundamentals, okay, not just tutorials, okay, not just copy and paste sample codes, don't just watch YouTube tutorials, understand the fundamentals step by step, element by element that I've shown you, okay? Build applications that solve real world problems, okay, not just something, hey, this is a pop-up, I don't know, this is a table, this is, I don't know, here's a little weather pop-up or something like this. Make something that solves a real problem, okay, something that, yeah, shows people, hey, this is where your truck goes along tomorrow, this is exactly the time when they will be there, this is the weather, how it will be there, and stuff like that, okay, or flooding will come inside, stuff like that, okay. Companies don't pay for the code. They don't pay for the technology you're using. In fact, they don't care at all about this. What they pay for is that they get a solution to their problems. All right, and this is, you can start talking with them. You have to start talking with them. Okay, put a post here today. Just saw this. Great products are built with customers, not for customers. What this simply means is that you don't want to guess to build what's right for someone, but that you want to build something that you know what's right for someone. Okay? This is the point. Okay, one great WebGIS application can change your career, can change your confidence. Okay, and how you show up in job interviews, how you show up in freelancing projects, for hiring managers there, for people who need your solutions, for people who need custom solutions even, okay, so that you can go to them, tell them, hey, what's your current situation, what's your problem, what's your desired situation, what is the mechanism here, or here's the mechanism that this is how I can solve this with WebGIS application for you. Okay. That's exactly how I went from learning WebGIS actually to multiple 7K plus projects. Okay. In euros, this is even more than in US dollars, it's like 7,500 or something around that. All right, and I would love that for you too. So with that, what are the next steps for you guys? Currently, we have 5 spots open, okay, to work, that you can work with us to become a confident WebGIS developer and landing your own freelancing projects, exactly as I've explained it above. Okay, learning skills you can use for the rest of your life. Okay, with every business that you want to create around WebGIS development, around everything else. If you're curious, there's a link to apply in the description. Okay, first come, first serve. See you there. Thank you, guys.